Hi there folks, welcome back to the IB and Andy Fishing channel. I hope you're doing really well. Particular welcome to those of you who've subbed in the last couple of weeks off the back of the video we did with Snagbro and off the back of IB doing her first vlog in ages. Great to see IB back out there solo vlogging, doing some really cool stuff, swearing at trees. So if you've subscribed to the channel off the back of either of those videos, welcome to the party. You are very, very welcome. I'm back out doing something that I really like doing at this time of year. It's probably going to be the last one of these to do until we get some more rain, because it's been a very dry spring, but I'm out here to do some small stream dry fly fishing. Usually at this time of year, we've just sort of late spring now, we're just coming into May. There's lots of water in the rivers and everything's going clear and there's a bit of rain around, April showers and all that. It's been an incredibly dry spring this time. And because of that, these rivers are a little bit low. So this time I've come a little bit further down the system on one of these small streams. It's one of the Fenton and District Angling Association waters. I'll put a little link somewhere in the description box so you can have a look at Fenton's waters. And I'm hoping to do some dry fly fishing. And I say hoping, that is the only thing I've got with me. I've not brought any nymphs with me. I'm determined to catch on dries. Now, in truth, I'm a little bit worried already because this is a brand new beat. I've never fished this piece of water before. It's the first time I've seen it, and I've just had to walk down it to get to the bottom end. And I've seen very little in terms of hatch, and I've seen one fish rise, and it's a relatively long piece of water. So I'm already wondering, have I made a bit of a mistake here? It's a bit of an odd day weather-wise. It's just past 3 o'clock at the moment, and it's been a really nice morning and early afternoon back home. It's been warm, it's been bright, it's been really nice. And then just on the drive here, it's actually clouded over a little bit. There's a bit of a breeze blowing up the valley at the moment, and it's gone a lot colder, so definitely a big change compared to what it was this morning. It's going to have an impact, that's for sure. Whether it's positive or negative, I don't know. As ever, very nice simple setup here, 7.5 foot 3-weight rod, which is perfect for this style of fishing. Nice short leader, 7.5 foot leader that I'll put some tippet on the end of. And then I've got a very, very small box of dry flies, very simple selection of flies. Nothing too complicated here. Most of them are flies that are available in our fly packs. And I'm hoping here we can find some risers. But the first thing we've got to do now is go out and find those fish. So let's have a walk down this river, see what we can find, taking on the surface straight away. There is not a lot to go at here at the moment. It is very quiet in terms of hatch. There is the occasional olive. There's one going around a back eddy in front of me at the moment. The occasional caddis and the occasional stonefly. But they are infrequent. I mean, other than a lot of midges, and there are a lot of midges, there's really not a lot for me to go at here. So I think just for the first half an hour or so, just while things are settling down and hopefully things will get better, I'm just going to do a little bit of blind prospecting here. Got a nice little riffly spot in front of me that looks good for a fish. I've stuck a sparkle clink on here because that's what it's for. Got a leader of about 9 feet with tippet in total. And we'll just have a little donk around this area in front of me. It's a nice big clink hammer on there. It's size 14 sparkle clink. I'll be honest with you, it looks a really good spot and I was full of optimism for this one, but that big upwinged olive thing spent so long spinning around in that back eddy in front of me and never got eaten that it's made me less confident than I was before I got in the water. But it'll give me a chance just to get used to the rod again a little bit. Oh, okay, right, we have got a rising fish. Okay, that changes that. We'll work up in that direction, but I've just seen a trout absolutely whack something up against the laid down wood at the top of this pool. So I'm going to work my way up there gradually because I want to do a little bit of casting practice with this rod. It's been a while since I've used it, but we have definitely got something to aim at now. Don't want to spend too long blind fishing here, so we'll cover lots of different lines fairly quickly. It's a big unit, this clink, so if something down there wants to eat it, they do see it. Pop a couple a little bit wider, maybe a little bit more depth over there, and then we are within range now of that rising fish. So while that couple of minutes with the clink didn't yield any fish directly, it did keep me in a spot long enough to see a rise. So I've just flipped over to the deer hair emerger, and we've got to drop this along the edge of this log here. Yeah, it's just risen again. Okay, so it's not actually as far upstream as I thought either. Got a bit of stuff behind me. That's not going to be the cast, but it gives me a chance to line it up. I can have a look, see where the stuff is behind me. Bug just gone over that fish that he didn't eat, a little olive that he didn't eat. That's interesting. Wonder why not. Didn't take the natural. It's a bit of a gamble on the cast here. Obviously, I don't want to go too close to the piece of laid down wood because I don't want to hit it. Just throw that back cast a bit wider. Oh, I've gone over the log. I've gone over the log. Okay, so I've had to snap that off. Nice quick snap so it doesn't spook the fish. That was the cast I was trying to avoid. I'll be able to pick the fly up when I go through there. That's frustrating. Okay, only takes 2 minutes. We're rigged up and ready to go again, and while I haven't seen the fish rise, I am going to continue to cover it because I do think it's probably still there. He lets a lot of food go. It's an interesting one, this. There's a lot of food that comes through this line that he doesn't eat. This is perfect. This is perfect. Should eat that. Doesn't eat that. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's one of many food items that this fish has let go above his head. Just wonder if me snapping that fly off there might have spooked this guy. That's not even close, Andy. Got him. Okay. Right, that was literally the last cast before I rested this fish up. And as it turned out, he was a little bit further up that log than I thought he was. I wonder if he's been following stuff down, maybe. Come on, let's get you in the net. Nice early fish on the dries. Nice early fish on the dries. Yeah. That was fun. We got him in the end. DHE does the business. I really like that deer hair merger in these sorts of situations. That is exactly what it's for. I don't know what that fish was eating. I don't know why it was eating it, but I knew it'd eat that DHE. Well, a fish out of the first pool is exactly the start we were hoping for, and as a added little Brucey bonus, I got the fly that I lost in the little branch back. So we've got a full fly box and we've got a fish in the net. Happy with that one. And in truth, it hasn't taken long to find more rising fish, and fish there is a plural because we've got at least two. There's one on the far bank above me there. It's probably the most regular riser, but I have no idea how I get a fly to that fish. And then there's at least one on the far side directly opposite me here. I've seen risers in multiple places, which suggests multiple fish, but it is the sort of water where I could imagine a fish cruising around, perhaps just owning a bit of this pool, and that's his spot, and he or she is just cruising around there picking off food. Slow, snaggy. I don't know if that's one fish or two. In truth, it could be two. What I do know is it's very, very still water, and the chances are that me getting in here will just have upset these fish slightly. So I think this is going to take a couple of minutes to relax again. So I'm going to get myself into a position where I can think about making a cast. I mean, this is funky. There's a lot going on. I'm going to get myself in a position where the rod tip finishes above this tree. So yeah, that'd be good. And I think I'm probably going to have to wait here for a few minutes to just see when these fish come back. I think they will. They're pretty well protected from me by this tree, but it might take a little while, this. So I'll see you guys as soon as one of these fish rises again. Okay, well yeah, I did have to wait a bit, but not too long. It's only a couple of minutes. One of these fish has just taken a flap at something. In truth, it's not the first fish to rise. There's one that's risen slightly below me that I just don't think I can get anywhere near. Whereas that guy that's just risen, I definitely can. I will say it's a completely different rise to anything else they were doing previously. And I wasn't watching the area when he rose, so I've got no idea what he took. But I'll sort of assume on these small streams that often isn't so much of a problem for these fish. My problem here is going to be, how do I get a drift out of this? Because this is very still water. I can't drop the rod tip, so there's always going to be weight of fly line in the air. With it being that deer hair emerges still, it pokes a long way under the water. Okay, the downstream fish just rose again. I have to keep an eye on him. Again, I'm assuming that that's a different fish to the one I'm fishing for. It could be the same fish. He could just be really, really moving around. Temptation here to try that downstream fish is in that little bay below me. It's the worst that can happen, right? I tell you what, that's actually a really good cast. That is exactly where it needs to be. Again, this will be a cruising fish. He won't be static. That'll be his little corner. Where is he? Problem I've got here, because there aren't many bugs coming down, I'm getting really infrequent rises. So these fish that are moving, it's difficult for me to know how quickly they're moving around. I have no idea where this fish is now, and he's got a beat here of 10, 15 feet long. I've got no idea in which part of his beat he's sat at the moment. The predominant bug is definitely those midges. There's lots of them. There's a big cloud of them. But these aren't midge rises. Where was that? Was that the upstream fish again? Got him. Just as I was looking the wrong way, right at the bottom end of the drift. I wasn't even looking. I struck off sound then. I wasn't even looking at the fly. Oh, dearie me. Another fish rose. I got completely distracted. And yeah, he ate it. Why do they always eat it? Just to the point where you turn away. Yeah. We get there in the end, don't we? It's just not always as straightforward as you hope. Yeah, not straightforward. Not pretty. The fish is. My fishing wasn't. Well, 2 out of 2 pools is a lovely start. There's 2 fish there in not much more than about 20 minutes. But it's taken me probably another 20 minutes to find another rising fish. I said at the start in the intro that the weather's been a bit up and down. And not long after I started fishing, it sort of cheered up again. It got nice warm and we've seen a few more bugs coming down. In the last 20 minutes it has gone cold. I mean, like cold, cold. That cloud has thickened. It's really changed the feel of the day. It's chilly now. I am regretting just fishing in a t-shirt, that's for sure. I've got a fish rising somewhere in front of me just here. It's sort of underneath this willow. While I was on the bank, it rose 3-4 times. I was stood just to the left here watching it. But since I've got in the water, it hasn't risen again, which is a bit of a worry. A quick check around me, see what I've got in terms of problems. Awkward cast this. Again, it might be a case of just waiting for a couple of minutes here. There's not a lot of food coming down here now. We've had a bit of a gusty breeze going up the valley, and that seems to have upset the midges. Nowhere near as many midges on the water as there were before. And that was sort of the prevalent food item, so there he is. So it might be that we have to be a bit more patient, just like that, but eventually they do reappear. This is awkward in every direction, this fish. I think I've probably got to get just level with this tree on my right and try and throw a roll cast at this. At the very least, in this instance, it might be a slightly helpful wind because it's going to blow the fly away from the willow. I'm not going to wait for him to rise again because I'm concerned about that weather. It's not impossible that it rains here. It's not forecast. It's not impossible to get a bit of rain here, at which point I am getting back in the car because I'll freeze to death. That's not far off. It's not quite far enough up and across, but as a first cast, just as a little stab roll cast, it's okay. That's pretty good. No, okay. That's also pretty good. Maybe not quite far enough across. These aren't bad. That's very good. Find the line, Andy. I just found the line in time. Oh dear me, that was nearly a fatal error. Whee! Nearly a fatal error. Again on that DHE. Oi, come on, get back in the water, you. Another one on the DHE. And they're not rising regularly, but if I can find a riser, I can put him in the net. Beautiful wild brownies. You've got to enjoy this stuff. It is fantastic fishing. Well, it's quite novel to have one of these videos where I'm actually hitting my takes. Yeah, happy with these. Again, just like that previous fish, it's probably taken me about 20 minutes again to find anything rising. And I walked up the river and seen some really nice water. Then I looked at this tunnel up here leading up to a riffle and thought, oh crikey, if there's not a fish there, there'll never be a fish anywhere. And no sooner had I thought that than actually a fish had risen in front of me. And actually it's not the one that just rose, but there are 2 or 3 in front of me at the moment. Nice and novel. I've got plenty of room behind me for a back cast here. Obviously not change that DHE because they keep eating it. We're not going to change that just for the moment, that's for sure. Let's just see if we can pick a couple of these off. Lovely pool, this absolutely gorgeous water. It's pretty deep, as I found out when I climbed in, but really, really nice looking little pool this. No idea what these fish are eating. Mixture of rises. Sometimes they're real sippy like that one. Sometimes they absolutely slap it. Got no idea. Again, this is generally what I use that DHE for. When I don't know what they're eating, I just stick that thing on. The fish at the back that rose over here somewhere, I've only seen that rise once. Just wonder if that's a bit of a red herring fish, because the fish further up are rising far more regularly than that. I'll give him a... oh, there he is, okay. I'll give him a few more drifts, see if I can lift him. Because it would be nice to get more than one out of this one. I'm still convinced it's going to rain, by the way. It would be nice to get a couple of these out while they're here, because I'm going to lose these bugs at some point. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. He doesn't eat it. It's a bit draggy. Just sort of wibbled its way through there. It did drag a touch, that. I'll keep an eye on that. I might need some more tippet here. That's good again. Got him. Yeah, I thought that one was about right. He's got his head down. I don't know where I can move my feet here to land this fish. I'm stood on a rock and either side of it feels like oblivion. They're still rising above me as well. Come here, you. Oh, nearly bumped him off. There we go. Yes, we got him. Well, we got him in the end. Took a few more drifts than I thought it would. Another lovely wild brownie. So the only regular fish at the moment is the fish that's further up. And as tempting as it is to wait this out for 10-15 minutes, I think I am just going to try and squeeze up to him a little bit. It probably means spooking one of the fish at the back. It's not the end of the world. Let's see if we can pop this up towards him. Okay, I'm going to give this 2 minutes. I'm not going to give it long because these fish are rising really regularly. I'm going to give this 2 minutes. If one of these fish rises again, I'll cover it. If not, I'm already thinking, let's go and find another pool. Well, that's the first fish that's actually bested me today. I feel a little bit unlucky there. Maybe there's not as many bugs as there was when I first arrived here. Maybe I have spooked those fish a little bit, I don't know. But I never saw him rise again. I'm still watching now. I'm in the same area. That fish hasn't lifted again, so I think all we can do is move on. Now, I mentioned at the start of the video here that I didn't get here till about 3 o'clock, and the reason I was a little bit late getting here is because this morning I had to put a load of new flies onto the web shop. So all of the flies that we're using now, the deer hair emerger, the clink hammer, a lot of the flies that weren't on there previously, we've finally managed to get around and put all these flies onto the web shop. You've seen here, that deer hair emerger is doing the absolute business at a point when there's not really a whole lot to go at. There's nothing obvious. That DHE in flatter water is absolutely deadly. So don't forget, if you want to do a little stock up on your flies, I'll put a link there to the web shop and you can fill your box up with some absolute fish catchers. You guys have seen all the videos, you know the flies work. So I look forward to packaging off some new flies for you, and hopefully you have just as much success with them as I'm having at the moment. But for now, we've got to go and find another riser. So, ever critical, I have walked away from that pool thinking to myself that maybe I've got that a little bit too wrong with the flies on the bigger fish. Now, there's subtle rises, really sort of subtle pushy rises. I've just got a feeling that fish was probably midging. And what I should have done is gone a little bit longer on the tippet and put a little sparkle gnat on. And for this fish that's just risen in front of me here, that is exactly what I've done. So previously I had a leader of about 8.5 feet, going from 5-pound tapered leader straight down to 6x tippet. What I've done here is I've put another 2.5 foot of 5x tippet in between the tapered leader and the 6x tippet. So I've got a longer leader here. It should land with a bit more slack. And as I say, we've got a sparkle gnat on. Now these fish rising regularly. The one in the middle is the most regular of the two risers. I think the one on the far side is possibly the slightly bigger fish. In an ideal world, I'd be fishing for these fish square across the river. But as we know, it is not an ideal world, and I can't do that because I'll spook them. So I've got to fish for these fish from the tail out, and that presents a real problem in terms of presentation because the water I'm currently kneeling down in is significantly faster than the water I'm going to be casting into. So we're going to have drift issues here. So I think this is going to be a case of trying not to land it too far above my fish, and then just aim to get a relatively short drift. Now I think I'm actually going to go for the fish on the far side first, because I think it's a slightly bigger fish. And it's probably, by virtue of the fact that I can cast square when that's not tangled around my net, by virtue of the fact that I've got to go square, it's probably the easier drift. So we'll float that across there. Yes, yeah, it wasn't a bad drift. That was all right. I think it's probably the higher percentage fish. It's worth a look, that's for sure. A bit of a reach mend at the end there. Okay, it's landed just behind him, but I know where he is now. He's smack in line between me and the trunk of that tree. That's perfect. Bang on his line. Got him that time. Why is that taking so long? Oh, he's off. Oh, it felt a good fish as well. I did say I thought that was the bigger fish of the two. It did feel like a good one. Okay, well, we got something right. All we can do here, having dressed the fly, is go back in for the one directly above me. And again, that is spot on. Doesn't eat it. It's always an element of drag when you're fishing from the position I'm fishing from at the moment. You never really want to be here. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, that was my fly, but it was in a really weird position. It was surrounded by tippet. I'll be honest, I really didn't think that was going to get eaten because it was sort of in the middle of a figure of 8 of tippet. That was weird. I think he'll come back. Yeah, I thought this guy had come back, and just then while I was fiddling around with an email, he has risen again a couple of times, so I'm going to pop this midge back up there. That's pretty good. It drags quite early. And I feel like the midge is right. Obviously, both these fish have eaten it at some point. I think we're just having really tough drag issues here. That's not my fly. That is. I think we're just having drag issues. If we can get the drifts good, I don't think this is too much of a problem. They are clearly on those midges. While this is the smaller one of the two, definitely always time for a wild brown trout. Always nice to crack the code. You've been very generous to me, pal. Yeah, nice to get one of those two out, although me being me, I am going to kick myself about the one that came off because it felt like the bigger of the two fish, but it happens. I've been pretty lucky so far today, so we'll go with it. I'm only maybe 50 yards above where I just fished, where I caught that last fish. And from down there, I was able to see there were fish rising in this line fairly regularly. There's one that rises really regularly above me, but I know there are fish in between me and there, so this is sort of semi-blind. I know those fish are there. I don't know exactly where they are, but I've put the DHE back on, and we're just going to fish this line coming down from that triple tree up there. Start fairly short, and we'll work our way across. I put the DHE back on because they're quite splashy rises. They weren't sort of little midgy sips. They were really whacking whatever it was they were feeding on, so I'm assuming that these aren't taking those midges like those fish back there were. Completely different rises. Okay, there's one of them, a bit further across than I realised actually. What a funny place to sit that is. What are you doing there? It's tough to get a drift there, I think. I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good. Just a little guy. That's all right. That was all in the cast. Really nice cast, that. Ah, this is fantastic. I'm having a great time here. This is really fun. I was really worried today that change in the weather might just scupper us with our dry fly fishing here. So fortunately, those little guys keep doing the biz. So we get lots of nice comments in the comments section on these videos, and one of the nice comments we often get is that we like your channel, Andy, because it's not one of those channels where it just feels like it's just someone catching a fish every single cast. And to those people, right now, I apologise, because right now this probably feels like this is just a video where I just catch a fish pretty much every other cast. And the reason for that is because that is essentially what's happening. I've done very little fishing today, and almost every fish, apart from one that I've tried to catch, I've at the very least risen. You've caught me on pretty good form today by the looks of it. So it has happened at some point. It's taken nearly 8 years of making fishing videos to catch me on good form. But yeah, this is going all right so far, isn't it? It's fun. I've got a few rising in this bubble line above me. I'm just about level with where I caught that last fish, so we'll have a couple of casts up this one. Let's just see if we can find another one. And the target fish in here is a little bit further across than that. It's almost sort of past the bubble line. I can see there's all sorts of tree roots and bits there for him to get into. I can see why it'd be there. Yeah, that's pretty good. That should rise that fish. It's the DHE against that sparkle DHE. Didn't take it. Oh, but he did take something else. Okay. I sort of feel mildly offended by that. What's going on here? Everything else is eating this. No bueno. Are you midging perhaps? Have I got the wrong fly on? Do I need to put that little sparkle net back on? Righty, nice simple fly change this one. Size 18 sparkle net. And that is perfect first cast. Didn't eat it. So it's nice to have one that has perhaps just provided a bit more of a riddle. What are you eating? These are good drifts. You can see the fly on the water clearly. They're nice drifts. I'm at a bit of a loss here to explain why he's not eating one of these, because they are all straight down his throat. So a fish, I don't know if it's my fish, but a fish has just risen a bit further up and across. Different rise again. It wasn't the little sniffly one. That was a proper crunch again. The rise is making me want to put that DHE back on, because all of a sudden he is crunching something. Yeah, I think this is another fly change. Okie doke, DHE back on. Now we started to crunch something. Let's see what happens. That's pretty much spot on first cast. Got him. It was pretty much spot on first cast. Okay, well I don't know if that's mystery solved or not, but at the very least we've risen him. Come on you. Yay, we got there in the end. Well, made hard work of that one in comparison to the other fish today, but we won in the end. Well, I've walked a fair distance upstream here, sat behind some really good water and not seeing anything rise, and to be honest I was starting to think that might be about it. But once again, a little bit of patience has shown me some fish in this bubble line above me. As ever, not straightforward, because I've had to drop in way closer to them than I would have liked. There's nowhere below me that I could get in. I mean, these fish were probably half that distance when I initially found them. Be as delicate as I can. If I can get one more step upstream, it puts me one step closer to the fish and one step further away from the tree behind me that's making the cast difficult. How does that look? Okay, it was neither one nor t'other in terms of line, but I do think I can reach the fish on the left now. That's, oh, it's behind him. I just feel like I'm pushing this fish up. Every time I move up, it moves up as well. Not quite got this cast right yet. That's it. That's the one. That's the one. Eat that. Got him. Yeah, he did eat it as well. Whee! He did eat it as well. I had a feeling, as soon as that dropped, I had a feeling that was about right. Whee! Whee! How many? Whoa! Stay in the water, bud. Be much more comfortable in there. That's cool. Happy with that one. That's a tricky one. Yeah, nice tricky one that, but we got there in the end. Thank you very much. Okay, so I've just moved a little bit further up the bank from where I caught that fish. And I was assuming that as I moved up here, I was going to spook the fish that was rising underneath the tree on the opposite bank. And I haven't, and it's still rising. So it gives you an idea of how carefully I've worked up here that this fish is still rhythm rising. No second angle on this one, because I've currently got the other camera tucked in between my legs. But I'm just going to pop a couple of casts over there and see if I can get him. Oh, we had a good look at that. See if I can get him to eat this. Just while I'm waiting for the other fish above me to rise again. There's the other camera, dinging away. It's interesting. 2 good drifts over him. He didn't eat either of them. Did eat that one. Oh, crikey. These guys are on it. These guys are on it. Oh, yeah, and that one just above me is risen as well. Well, actually, it's quite a good fish. I thought this was a real tiny weenie. It's not. It's one of the better fish today. Yeah, that's not the fish I expected. Yeah, that is a very respectable palmful of brown trout. Tiny little sips. Okay, so in the time it's taken me to get that fish back, sort the cameras out, do all the other stuff, the fish that I came up here to try and cover has started rising again. So we'll drop one up towards him. Right up the bubble line, right above me. Nice tight cast this. That's probably going to do it. I could do with it doing it, because if not, that fly's going to be very close to the root system. Yeah, got away with it. Little bit surprised he didn't take it, but that's okay. That's too wide. That's not a good cast. Somewhere in between those last two. I haven't found that feed line there with either of those 2 casts. That's okay. Stay nice and calm. It's not a straightforward one, this. I've got a little bit of stuff directly opposite me and behind me, so just take my time. Yeah, that is perfect. Got him. That was lovely. Oh yeah, it's a slightly better one as well. Oh, he's put me on the reel. Okay. Yeah, this is a slightly better fish. He's flying at me at the moment. Yeah, and he goes away. He put me on the reel there. He's going for his root system. He's going for his root system. I think I've got him away. What have we got here? This is the first one that's really properly pulled back today. It always looked like a slightly bigger fish when it was rising. Moved a little bit more water than some of the others. Oh, he's gone under this root system here while I was pissing about with my net. That's not ideal. Okay, I've got him out. Yeah, it is a slightly bigger one. It's not huge, but it is a slightly bigger fish. That's a lovely looking fish as well. Really pretty one. Get him over this root system. Lovely scrap. Well, this is an interesting little spot. I walked past this earlier in the day and thought, wow, that just looks like the perfect place for a trout to sit. But there was nothing there at that point. But there definitely is now. I have been sat upon the bank watching this fish feed over and over again for about 5 minutes now, sort of debating whether or not I was going to cover it. I sort of had an idea that last fish was going to be the last fish of the day, but I've watched this fish rise like this and it's just, I can't resist. It's as simple as that. I can't resist. So I'm going to pop this DHE up there, up that bubble line, and see if I can get him to take it. This would be a lovely one to finish on. Oh, he rises so regularly. I mean, that's perfect. Yeah, it was perfect. Maybe a bit draggy. Jeez, it was a good cast. It was a really good cast. Let's try that again. With berries. Oh, he's off. I was just about to say, with the regularity he feeds that, he could be midging. But as often in these little small streams, it didn't matter. He took it anyway. You know what? I've had a pretty good day here. I've caught quite a few fish. That feels fairly just. I'm quite happy with that. That'll do. Yeah, I think justice was done there. That seems pretty much fair enough. I wasn't going to have another cast at a fish, but when I saw that guy just munching away right in that little slot there, I thought that looks like a pretty fun cast. I really ought to have a shot at that. Made the cast, rose him, bumped him off. That's absolutely fine. This river does not owe me anything at all this afternoon. What a lovely few hours fishing this has been. I've only been here just about 3 hours. With them filming, I'm doing lots of B-roll and lots of other stuff. I've done very, very little fishing at all. And I've been really lucky that pretty much every fish I've found, I've risen. I can't think of, was there a fish maybe that I covered and didn't manage to rise? Everything else has either taken that DHE or taken the midge. It's been a really fabulous few hours, especially given that earlier on in the day, I actually wasn't that confident that we were going to keep finding rising fish. When it went cold, I was a bit worried that maybe we wouldn't get a day out of this that I was hoping for. Crikey, did we get a day in the end. Made very few fly changes all day between that deer hair emerger and the sparkle gnat. They've pretty much done biz, but both of them have caught fish. Little play around on the clink hammer earlier when I was prospecting, but in truth, I really didn't need to use it again during the course of the day. I thought that clink hammer was going to get more use. I just didn't need it. It just shows you so few fly patterns between a DHE and a sparkle gnat there. That's been almost all of the fishing and every single fish. Just a little reminder, as ever, the vast majority of the flies that we use on these videos are available via our web shop. I will put the web shop address up here once more. We're ever so grateful for all the people who buy the flies from the web shop. As you guys have seen there, they really do work. We work hard on these patterns. They're really good. Best materials we can get, the best hooks we can get. We put everything into these flies so that you guys can go out and fish them with confidence. And as you've seen here, that DHE is an absolute game changer on days like this when it's just bits and pieces. You can tie that thing on and just know it's going to work. So feel free to pop over to the web shop. If you want to buy yourself a couple of flies, they are available on there. I'm going to crack on now. I want to get back home. I want to go to the IB and the dog, but I want to say thank you very much to all of you folks for sticking through and watching this video. I really appreciate it. It's quite an unusual one today. It's probably more fish than we usually do in a video, but that's how it's gone. I just kept catching them. That's absolutely fine by me. Some days you're good, sometimes you're not. Today I was pretty hot. IB and I are going to catch you guys pretty soon for some more dry fly fishing, some more small stream fishing, some more flies and some more stuff. But in the meantime, take care folks. Bye bye.